Hi, it's Robert here again, and today let's talk about that little cute bouquet that you just couldn't resist when you were walking through your local market. What do you do with a little bouquet that doesn't have a lot of greens or a lot of big focals? There's lots of things you could do to really perk up your spirits and accent your home for yourself. First, let's remove our wrap. And remember, add your flower food, but follow directions on the back so it's proper. Let's separate our flowers by variety. Generally, these little bouquets have a lot of different varieties in them that you could work with, and they're all accent flowers. What we're going to do today is I selected this little bubble bowl. They're very popular right now in design styles, and they're so easy to work with, and there's so little you could put them anywhere as an accent. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my largest ones, which are these cushion mums, and I'm going to pull apart the lower laterals, and I'm going to remove all the lower foliage. Just like that. I'm going to do the same thing with the other one. I'm leaving a couple on the original stem because that's where we're going to start from. Now let's just put these together like that. And we just want to go around with our little laterals, and we're going to make a collar, placing them all around. I'm going to save my little buds for the end. Now, let's take the white daisies, and now we're going to cut them all up right at the tips of their laterals. What we want to do is you want to place your colors all the way through it. This time I'm going to use my little buds because they have some nice long laterals so I can go all the way down. Remember to keep removing that foliage. Bacteria is going to be the death of your flowers. Literally. So I'm placing them around, cutting again. It's sometimes easier to pre-cut, but I didn't do that this time. Don't worry about these being short, because remember, we're going to cut this down real short to place it in there. Just keep going around and evenly dispersing. That's the most important part, is that you evenly disperse the color throughout, and you keep turning it around in your hand and making sure that it looks just right. You should have something that looks about like that. Now we still have one more type of daisy. Some of these varieties can really be beautiful. This one's a little bit of lavender and white. But remember, these techniques can be used for any bouquet that you buy that have these kind of flowers. Now these have some short laterals here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this as a little cluster of 3 because I need to use this whole thing like that. I'm just making a collar pretty much around the bottom. And I'm doing the same thing here that I did with the last one. I'm leaving a little cluster like that. I'm going to place it, oops, lost one. Place it around like that. So that's all the way around. And I just have a little cluster. And I'm going to have a few little buds that'll be sticking up out of the top. Just make sure that you're pushing them down far enough that they will be hitting the water. That's very important. Oh, got a stubborn one there. There you go. Now, let's save our carnations for a minute, and let's cut this down and place it into my vase. What I want to do is I want this lower daisy to land right on the tip of the rim of the vase. So I'm going to make my cut. Careful of your fingers when you're cutting a short bouquet like that in your hand. Measure. That should be perfect. I'm going to remove a little more foliage because I see some extra that's going to be below the waterline now that we cut it. I'm going to place it in my vase like that. Now let's take our two carnations, which are hot pink, and they will give it a real punch of color. So I'm going to place one so that it lands right about there. Be careful not to ruin your little mums when you're putting this through. It's just about right. And then I'll have one pointing to the other side. So I could use this in the middle of a round table, and you could see it from both sides. Like that. Now that'll add a little spark of color to your powder room or to your bedroom dresser. As always, happy arranging!